Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus is presented by Mathis Brothers, the preferred furniture sponsor of OU Athletics. Upgrade your palace and shop now at mathisbrothers.com. Oklahoma trying to make it 2-0 as they take on a rare MAC opponent in the Golden Flashes of Kent State. With that, we say hello and welcome. Mike working alongside former quarterback Ryan Leaf. And Ryan, a lot of anticipation in the air. Oklahoma, it is a new era. The Venables era has kicked in, and with that, the same level of expectation.
Yes, the expectations will be there, but there's a ton of fear with the unknown. That's why Oklahoma went and got a coach who they have a lot of familiarity with. Brent Venables back home here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Meanwhile, Kent State, not exactly your typical pushover. This is a Kent State offense that has really put up some staggering numbers under that man, head coach Sean Lewis. They are air raid. They are quick. They are very similar to Oklahoma in a lot of ways. They will pose some challenges for that Oklahoma defense, no doubt. But Ryan, as we turn it back to the Oklahoma side of things, Dillon Gabriel, he was almost a UCLA Bruin. I mean, literally minutes before going to campus in Los Angeles. He's in Norman now, and they're happy to have him.
Yeah, they're really happy. You know who's the most happiest? Jeff Levy, offensive coordinator. He's known him since his high school days, have recruited him, got him to get here to Norman, and he's been special early. He knows the offense better than anybody, and he's got that fluid lefty throwing motion that really excites this fan base, and they're having a lot of fun with him as a quarterback so far.
He's got a really good target, too, in Marvin Mims, who's one of the most electric wide receivers in the Big 12 Conference this year. The weather is perfect. Brent Venables hopes to remain perfect as the Oklahoma head coach, 1-0 after the victory last season. People wondered, would he ever make that jump from elite coordinator to head coach? It was going to take the perfect situation, and that was right back here in Norman.
You're exactly right. To leave Clemson, Dabo Swinney, that had to have been special. Here we go.
Kent State wins the toss, will receive, and will take it at the 25 as we say hello for the first time today, Alex Chappell on the sideline.
Hey there, Mike and Ryan. Well, it has been an unconventional start to the season for Kent State. Talking with Coach Sean Lewis, he shared as they started their season in Washington, they were in Seattle. Then they decided logistically it made more sense instead of traveling back to Ohio to stay in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They were working out at Union High School. They've been able to take in the sights in the Pacific Northwest and then the history in the Greenwood community in Tulsa. And now they make their way here to take on the Sooners.
And surely this will be a day they will never forget. Deep ball right off the bat on first down, trying to hit Dante Cephas, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper, their go-to wide receiver, who they believe will be a high NFL draft pick. Colin Schlee is the quarterback for the Golden Flashes, and he is a good one. A redshirt junior out of the state of Maryland, was under-recruited, but in terms of raw ability, the arm, the legs, they believe they've got a star in the making. They're going to go Wildcat. Now Schlee back at the quarterback spot. Gets it. Quick toss to the near side and caught at the 30-yard line. That's Raymond James out of Dayton, Ohio. His second grab of the year for 5 yards.
This day and age where everybody's transferring, to see a quarterback sit, learn, and stay is something that we don't see that often anymore in college football, and that's exactly what Colin Schlee did as he sat behind Dustin Crum.
Yeah, Dustin Crum was the two-time MAC Player of the Year. Learned a lot from him, but they believe Schlee's top-end potential a little bit better in terms of overall athletic talent. This is 3rd and 5 for Schlee. Pocket collapsing. Schlee has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Reggie Grimes, who had a career-best 2.5 sacks last week, picks up one here along with Isaiah Coe.
In this game, Colin Schlee can't afford to do anything like this. The ball's got to get out of his hand. If he starts to try to make moves and plays with his feet outside the pocket, this is going to be the end result.
Reggie Grimes has been playing with some extra inspiration. Alex will have more on that after the punt, but he has been possessed here in the first couple of games of this season. 11-yard loss on the sack, and that'll send the punting unit out. Josh Smith will boot it for the Golden Flashes. Angles it toward the far sideline, and a fair catch caught at the 38 as we check in with Alex.
Well, Mike, a broken left collarbone had sidelined Dylan Gabriel for majority of the 2021 season. I had a chance to talk with him this week about returning to the field and just his journey. It had been 350 days since he had faced an opponent, but all the hard work in the offseason, the rehabbing, the conditioning, transferring here to Oklahoma, a place he said was such a great fit. He said it meant the world to him to get his first win in a Sooners uniform, but he also reminded me there's still a lot to accomplish and build on for this offense.
He put up some staggering numbers at UCF, 72 career touchdown passes. That was his first introduction to Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator. Of course, Oklahoma gets Jeff Lebby from Ole Miss, Ryan, and what a huge get that was.
Oh, it was a huge factor when you lose somebody like Lincoln Riley, who is so distinct on offense. To add somebody like Jeff Lebby is what this team needed.
It's Eric Gray, the Tennessee transfer, coming off his 6th 100-yard game of his career, the first in an Oklahoma uniform.
Little misdirection there, and then simply good job by the defense of getting in front of him and dragging him down. Eric Gray keeps his legs churning for a few to set up a shorter third down, a manageable one.
Oklahoma stays tempo, 3rd and 6, 5 in the pattern for Gabriel. All kinds of time. Now rolling out to the right side, looking downfield. Nobody open, and finally gets pummeled at the 40-yard line. Great coverage by the Kent State defense, and the hit provided by Caleb Johns.
A wonderful job in the secondary of covering everybody up, and Dylan tries to make something go with his feet, but Caleb Jones is just shot out of a cannon there to get him down on the ground and set up Oklahoma to punt in their first series.
Great job by the Golden Flashes defense. Michael Turk, you might be looking at the best punter in all of college football. He averages nearly 46 yards a punt for his career. Fair catch at the 15. It'll be the second series for Kent State when we return from Norman. No score here in the first quarter. No score here in the early going. Kent State led by head coach Sean Lewis. Who is Sean Lewis? He's a former Wisconsin tight end and a longtime Dino Babers assistant at 2 spots, including Syracuse. He credits Dino Babers really with this opportunity to get his first head coaching job, and Dino Babers credits him with the success that he's had, saying, quote, "It's not surprising to see Sean have success at Kent State. He's innovative, connects with players. We're all proud of him and enjoy watching his games when we get the opportunity." You never know, Ryan Lee, who's going to give you that first break in the coaching business. For Sean Lewis, it was Dino Babers.
It's like anything else when you're a player and you're being recruited. You know, you develop this relationship with someone who's going to mentor you, who teach you. Mike Price was that man for me at Washington State. He's had a ton of in his coaching tree. Dino Babers being one of them.
That's right. In between the tackles, straight up the gut, and a positive game for Marquez Cooper, who stands all of 5'6", but he's rocked up. He's about 190 pounds, all muscle.
Sometimes when you're that small, you get hidden behind that offensive line and no one can find you.
And kind of a Darren Sproles vibe to him. Penalty flags falling. And you might have Sam Allen moving early on the O-line.
Offside, defense, number 88. With contact in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Instead, that'll be on the defensive tackle, Jordan Kelly, the senior out of Tulsa.
This one always baffles me when you're the guy right over the football. I mean, the only thing you're looking at is the football. So just wait for it to be snapped. And so it always makes me laugh. That's exactly what the coach asks him on the sideline. What were you looking at, son?
Don't listen, just look.
Yep.
First down and 10. And again to the ground. Again straight up the gut with Marquez Cooper, the junior out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. And on the stop, it's Agwebu. David Agwebu, the senior, who really runs the show on that defense for Oklahoma, number 2.
This offense is going to be up-tempo. They're going to make sure they get up to the line of scrimmage so Oklahoma doesn't have a chance to substitute, but then they'll get into their play, and it may take a little bit longer into the play clock.
They'll call it 2nd and 6. And again, they will run. A steady dose of number 1 in white, Marquez Cooper. The other thing they like about Cooper is that he can play every down. He can block, he can catch. You don't have to take him out on third down. He's well conditioned, doesn't get tired, so he'll be used early and often in this ball game.
It's a huge factor when you're able to have that consistency.
On 3rd and 4, tucking it and running it is Schlee. And Schlee, a great athlete, gets to the sticks and then some. Another stop for Agwebu. Colin Schlee, who is an outstanding baseball player out of high school.
Just triple option, really. Reads the end, pulls it, and gets the first down.
Kent State, much like Oklahoma, not afraid to go up tempo. Oklahoma showing blitz, and they will bottle up Cooper this time. That is Danny Stutzman, who had a career-high 9 tackles last week, the sophomore out of Windermere, Florida.
They bring the guy off the slot receiver, and there's no one there to block him. He stops the play early, and then Stutzman cleans it up for a loss.
They love their linebacking core this year in Norman with Stutzman, Agwebu, and Deshaun White. Pass falls incomplete, intended for Cooper out of the backfield. So a 3rd down and long for Kent State.
For Kent State to have success in this game, they just cannot get behind the sticks, right? It can't be a loss of yards here. What they did in the first few plays of this drive to set up 2nd and manageable. When you're sitting in 3rd and 11, it really allows Brent Venables' defense then to come and do a lot to confuse the young quarterback.
Ted Roof's defense subbing in players at the last second there. Out of the gun, Schlee on 3rd and 11. 5-man rush. Schlee going to tuck it and run to the 40. Weaving his way past the 45. Lunges to the 49, and that'll be a first down. Brilliant run by Colin Schlee. Harmon on the stop for OU.
Some confusion out of the defensive backfield. Guys were running wide open, but Schlee sees an opening and takes off and picks up a huge first down on 3rd and 11.
Oklahoma didn't allow a rush greater than 8 yards last week in the win against UTEP. On first down, trips to the near side. Cooper the lone back. Schlee fakes the handoff, looking deep down the sideline, one-on-one coverage, and unable to reel it in was Cephas. He's their game breaker, but he was shadowed that time by Woody Washington.
Watch here what the play action, how it freezes the defense, brings the safety down. Now he's got one-on-one down the sideline. Wonder how his shoulder pad got exposed there, right? Must mean he was getting tugged on a little bit early in that. The officials didn't catch it, got away with something, and sets up a long 2nd down.
I'll be curious, Ryan, what you think of Schlee's arm throughout this game. I was impressed last week watching the tape against Washington. Nice second effort, and still dragging bodies is Cooper. Again, not tall, but certainly plenty strong.
Well, kind of what we talked about, how small he is, right? He's behind that big offensive line. Watch this. He disappears in the scrum in there, and no one sees where he's at. Where's he at? Boom! Then he explodes through it and gets out on the back end, setting up a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down and 4.
I already can tell you about Schlee. His arm is...
It's legit,
yeah,
right?
It's legit.
I mean, just effortless, even on that ball that fell incomplete down the sideline. 3rd and 4. Handoff, bottled up behind the line of scrimmage and dragged backwards. Kelvin Gilliam leading the charge. There are about 3 or 4 guys for Oklahoma on a gang tackle.
Well, you can't have a mistake like this where you bobble the football, sets off a chain of events that doesn't allow for them to have a lot of success. And of course, Oklahoma is just all over them in the backfield, and they'll get the ball back on offense.
Oklahoma's defense already 3 tackles for loss here in this opening quarter. Gilliam, just a redshirt freshman out of Richmond, Virginia. Another punt for Smith. Spiraling kick and a fair catch at the 12-yard line by Marvin Mims. We'll get another look at that Oklahoma offense when we come back from Norman.
Game ball! Coach Venable!
It's going to be special, okay? And I want everybody in here. Okay,
I got to tell you what, we really enjoyed our time with Brent Venables yesterday, and how could you not appreciate that moment, getting choked up, waited so long before he finally took the opportunity. Could have had it years ago, but took the opportunity to come back to Oklahoma. And Ryan, that's one of the few times Brent Venables will ever be speechless, because you talk to Brent Venables, he is a ball of energy. I mean, he is 100 miles an hour.
It's palpable, and everybody can feel it. And so it comes across as real as possible. It's why this team has gravitated to him so quickly.
Really enjoyed our meetings with the coaching staff yesterday. And a big play in the passing game. That is the first reception for Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, who has led the Sooners in receiving yards the last 2 years, on pace to have another big one. That goes for 32. Quick snap on first down, and dragged down for a loss is Marcus Major. Great pursuit that time by Marvin Pierre.
Wonderful pursuit. When Oklahoma gets a first down, and either way, this is offense, you want to go. You want to go as quickly as you can. And this is one where the defense was ready. Going up against the same type of offense every day in practice is very helpful.
Major had 2 rushing touchdowns last week for OU, and again, no daylight. This time it's Marvin Mims, and he's bottled up for a loss as well. So back-to-back negative plays will set up a 3rd down and 12.
You know, speaking with Jeff Levy, he talked about how similar the offenses are and how the defenses have been prepared for it. And right there, you saw a perfect example. Nico Bolden from the safety position comes firing down to make the tackle for a loss.
3 wide set for Gabriel. With Major to his left. 4-man rush by Kent State. Underneath and incomplete, intended for the tight end Braden Willis, who had 2 touchdowns last week. Nico Bolden had great pressure right in the face of Gabriel as he tossed it. So the Oklahoma offense sputtering here in the early going. Turk boots another one. And racing up to the 15 to field, it is James. James knocked down at the 27-yard line, and a penalty flag is on the field. That's all the way back on the side of the field where Oklahoma punted it. Our referee is Steve Barron. Steve Barron not missing bench press days.
Oh, I walked by him pregame.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Personal foul, face mask, receiving team number 41. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. 1st down.
That is on Luke Murphy.
I asked him if he was wearing a Schmedium. you got a chuckle out of that.
Yeah, it certainly appears so. Alex Chappell, what do you have?
Grimes is playing with extra motivation this season. Talking with Reggie Grimes this week about his grandmother, Barbara, who his family calls Mama. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in April. She held off her chemotherapy treatment last week so she could come to his first game of the season. She got to see him put on a show, 2.5 sacks. He says he was very emotional when he had the chance to talk with her before the game and after the game, but he's beyond thankful to her to be at that first game of the season, and he's thinking of her all the time.
Alex, terrific story, and Reggie Grimes is off to a terrific start. 2.5 sacks last week, already in on a sack in this ball game. You can only imagine how heavy the heart is for that young man in his junior season out of the state of Tennessee. The 3rd series of the quarter for Kent State after the 44-yard punt and then the penalty. On the run, it's going to be Bradford. First time he's toe to the rock. Brian Bradford, the junior out of St. Louis. Billy Bowman on the stop. Billy Bowman, who they say is just an athletic freak, coming off a career-high 9 tackles last week, number 5 for Oklahoma. Quick snap. And a little jitterbug move straight up the gut for Brian Bradford. Picks up a couple. Jeffrey Johnson, the transfer from Tulane, in on the stop.
Defensive front does a good job in the trenches here, just holds on to the offensive lineman before they were all able to rally and make the tackle. Backed up situation, you can't afford to make a mistake here, turn it over, take a big sack.
Golden flashes 2 for 4 on 3rd down. Missiles that one over the middle, but stacked up as soon as he caught it. Cephas, Billy Bowman in on another tackle for Oklahoma, and that'll force the punting unit back onto the field.
That was one of the biggest things I saw in film last week, was even when UTEP was able to complete passes, these defensive backs were just absolutely all over the wide receivers. There was no yards after the catch. When the ball was caught, they were dragged and got down to the ground. Billy Bowman was a big part of that. Watch for Key Lawrence as well as the other corners making plays too.
There's a lot of newcomers on both sides of the ball, including that defense. 60 players on the roster coming into this season, never took a snap for OU. Good looking punt and a fair catch called for at the 34. On the back pedal by Marvin Mims. We'll see if Oklahoma's offense can get it going here in the first quarter. Scoreless ball game here in Norman, Oklahoma. Mike Morgan, Ryan Lee, great to be with you this Saturday evening. Oklahoma's offense has been stymied so far in the early going against Kent State. The offense led by offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby. And what a get that was coming back home. There's Jeff Lebby on the far left, and Oklahoma grad. He came to Oklahoma as an offensive lineman, recruited by Coach Stoops, got hurt right away, had a medical scholarship, and then learned from the likes of Josh Heupel, continued to work his way as an assistant, went to Baylor, part of that Art Briles coaching tree, and was actually at UCF when Dylan Gabriel was there. So then he goes to Ole Miss, does a terrific job with Lane Kiffin's offense with the Rebels, winds up getting recruited again by Brent Venables to Oklahoma, and the first phone call Jeff Lebby makes is to Dylan Gabriel saying, look, I know you're thinking about going to UCLA. How about reuniting here in Norman? And the way the story goes, Ryan, it was about 5 minutes away. If he logs onto that class at UCLA, he can't transfer. They got a hold of him just before that. He wound up changing his mind, and everybody's happy that it worked out that way.
Everybody, especially Jeff Lebby, offensive coordinator, with the familiarity of Dylan Gabriel and have known him since he was in high school in that family. It was all really meant to happen.
Gabriel on target there to Braden Willis, the tight end who had 3 grabs, 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over UTEP. Gabriel comes into this game with 72 career touchdown passes.
Fourth and 1 on their side of the 50 here. If I know Brent Venables and Jeff Lebby, if they feel like they can't get 1 yard, then this offense is in for a...
It was close, but stumbling just enough ahead of the chains is Marcus Major. The first down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. Yeah, you heard that right. Learn more at paycom.com.
First down means they can start rolling,
right?
Start being quick, get into their offense.
Eric Gray back in a tailback for Oklahoma. Gabriel from the pocket. Now gets some heavy pursuit. Breaks out of a tackle, but goes down on the second effort. The second wave led by Caleb Johns, the middle linebacker. A loss of 7 on the play.
Dylan Gabriel had a couple guys running down the field. He just didn't feel comfortable enough to let it go. Loses his shoe. And then Caleb Jones comes back. Watch number 3 here just blow by the safety. He just didn't feel comfortable planning and letting it go with the pressure that was at his feet.
I think everybody, over 80,000 fans here in the stadium, a little stunned with the offense so far. Gabriel that time knocked away. Blanket coverage on Theo Weiss, the intended target. First time he's been targeted. DJ Miller says, I'm there.
That would have been his 4th read in the progression. He gets to him, but it's a little too late because Weiss comes out of his break open, but by the time the ball is delivered, defensive back Miller is right there on the spot to knock it away.
Another 3rd and long for Oklahoma. 3rd down and 17. Sooners 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Gabriel, 5 in the pattern. From the pocket, rifles it complete, but immediately knocked down J.J. Hester. All right, what do you do here, Ryan Leaf?
Well, I suspect that they're going to go for it once again, but it looks like they're going to punt it away. Sometimes that's like penance. You know, Jeff Levy's up there in the box going, hey, well, I'm not going to let you go for it, but you haven't converted enough for me on 3rd down. We're going to punt it, and there's a little penance for that.
Help me, help you.
Yes.
Well, on 4th and 4, they will elect the go field position. Michael Turk, one of the best in the business, angles this one inside the 10. Perfectly done. Kent State will be behind the 8 ball, starting their drive from their own 7-yard line. So with just 48 seconds left to go in the first quarter, bit of a stunning score here. No score.
Well, it's been a stunning day, right?
Yes,
we watched Appalachian State take down Texas A&M in College Station. My Cougars go to Wisconsin and jump around and find a way to win. So, yeah, you don't want to get into these types of games where they prolong, because it just builds confidence in a team like Kent State.
You never know when the next Marshall Thundering Herd upset's going to come. They knock off Notre Dame in South Bend today.
Tough start for Marcus Freeman here.
On 1st down, nowhere to go. Dragged backwards on the wallop, Jalen Redmond.
I will say what will make these Sooners fans happy is that they have this defense, right? This defense is going to shut down anybody they play. They're exceptional at what they do. Just a matter of getting into that fluidity on offense. When they do, they're potent.
4 tackles for loss already for this Oklahoma defense. They'll be pinning their ears back here on 2nd and 13. Schlee out of the gun. Corrals the high snap. Takes it himself toward the edge and shoved out of bounds at about the 11-yard line by Jaden Davis.
Again, just option here. Reads the defensive end, pulls the ball, and then takes off. If the wide receiver would have been able to get the block on Billy Bowman there, it might have been for a bigger play.
Timeout.
So the first play of the second quarter will be a 3rd and 7 for Kent State. Kind of a surprising score through the first 15 minutes. We're scoreless here in Norman. Beautiful Memorial Stadium. Another sellout crowd. Sooner Vision football on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Fowler Auto Group. Being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. And by Paycom. What if your employees could do their own payroll? With Paycom, they can. See how at paycom.com. On a 3rd and 7. And getting 1st down yardage. Brilliant run by Colin Schlee. And right now, that man, Brent Venables, has to be concerned about what he's seen thus far. Defense strong, Ryan. The offense has sputtered.
When you struggle offensively, the crowd doesn't get a chance to get into the game, and then Kent State starts to gain a little confidence, and Colin Schlee right there is just magnificent carrying the rock and picks up a 1st down.
Colin Schlee is going to, without a doubt, be one of the best quarterbacks in the MAC this season. He was under-recruited coming out of high school. He was just kind of scrawny, and he was a big-time baseball prospect. And that man, Sean Lewis, came in and said, no, son, I see a role for you as a quarterback. If you stay with it, he stuck behind Dustin Fromm, 2-time MAC Player of the Year, waited his turn, didn't go to the portal. Now they're going to fake the Wildcat and again go back with Schlee in the gun. 2nd time they've done that razzle-dazzle. Schlee tosses in the flat, caught, and past the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Raymond James, well-developed play, will move the chains for Kent State.
Incredible job here by Schlee. Watch this. It's a triple option. He pulls it. Now he's got an option to pitch it, but now the pitch man is a wide receiver. He just simply tosses it out there like it's no problem to his wide receiver to pick up the 1st down.
Again, Sean Lewis's offense has been setting all kinds of marks in the MAC conference. Schlee, boy, does he move well. Schlee with a penalty flag. Tight ropes the sideline, out of bounds at the 45-yard line. We'll see what the laundry's all about.
Well, it's going to be a free play, and if he would have noticed that, he would have maybe taken a shot down the field, but again, right over the football. I talked about the crowd noise. There really isn't any, right? This is an 80,000.
That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down. Timeout for an injured player.
80,000 plus. Pretty quiet. Now, this is the third time we've seen guys jump off sides for Oklahoma. That means that Kent State's they're allowed to really use a hard count, and they've gotten to jump a few times right in front of the football.
Is it me, or does this game almost have a week one feel to it, where you're still working out the kinks, maybe a little sloppiness, but this is the second week of the season.
This is looking a lot like the LA Rams the other night against Buffalo, right? And really sputtered out the gate. They didn't play at all in the preseason. We're watching it play out here, you know. Sooners fans got to be thinking, come on, let's get a turnover. Let's make something happen. And it might have to be on the defense's shoulders early to get this thing rolling.
Well, 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line for Colin Schlee in this Kent State offense. Neither team has taken a visit to the red zone so far. Just getting into plus territory has been a challenge. But Kent State's got a chance to do that here. Just 5 yards away from midfield. Schlee, handoff, stuffed. Drop for a loss. Reggie Grimes, another tackle for loss, a loss of 3.
Incredible job by Reggie Grimes. Watch him just read down the side, shed the block from the pulling guard, and just consume Marquez Cooper for the tackle for loss.
Grandma Barbara watching, no doubt, enjoyed that play as well. 2nd down, 13. Play clock down to 5. Schlee spins and missiles one over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Floria. Luke Floria, his first target of the day.
This is very interesting here. I don't know if this was in the play or not, but if you watch the quarterback there, he pulled like a little 360, little pirouette, and then fires one over the middle. I mean, that's an example of his arm strength, right? I mean, I don't know if you had to fire it in that hard for a short pass like that, but clearly he has the intangibles, and Coach Sean Lewis spoke highly of him pregame with me when I was on the field.
A 3rd and 13. Oklahoma dials up the blitz. Schlee, another spin move. Schlee buys time, rifles one. Oh my goodness, on target at the 35. That is an NFL throw.
That is arm strength. That is confidence. That is believing also in Marquez Cooper, the running back we talked about, who's an every down player. Watch this. He bails out, gets away with his speed, and rolling to his left, sidearms it perfectly to his running back. That is what Sean Lewis was talking to me about, the throws that he can make from all angles, right? They grow up now watching the likes of the no-look passes.
Pat Mahomes.
And those types of things. So they emulate it, and they get really good at it at a young age.
Trying to set the edge, then cuts it up the hash. Marquez Cooper, Billy Bowman, racks up another tackle for Oklahoma. You know, this was an offense. Kent State, there are 130 Division I teams. They were 130th when Sean Lewis took the job over. So they have had a complete transformation on that side of the football.
Well, people told him, don't take the job.
Flat out. We asked him that. He said, everybody told me don't take the job. They haven't won a conference championship in 50 years.
He wasn't listening. He felt like that he could make a difference in young kids' lives and be explosive offensively.
Good crease that time behind the right side of the line on 2nd and 4 for Cooper. Woody Washington on the stop for Oklahoma.
Wonderful job of being patient here. Watch him be patient. And then when he decides to hit the hole, he puts his foot in the ground, explodes to the 2nd level.
Best drive of the day for either team. This will be the 12th play of the drive. Schlee gets it right into the belly of Cooper, who plows ahead. Might have squeezed out a yard. It'll be 2nd and long.
When you look at Marquez Cooper there, right, the 5'7".
Oklahoma, number 8, lost his helmet during the play. Must sit out for 1 down.
5'7", 190-pound running back, just get enveloped, right, by Jeffrey Johnson, 6'2", 305-pound defensive tackle there. He just disappears on the tackle as he hits the ground.
That was Laulu, by the way, who lost his helmet. He'll have to sit out the play here, the defensive end for Oklahoma. 2nd down and 9. Schlee out of the gun. He's looking to run. Schlee weaving and lowers the shoulders, staggers forward to the 16-yard line. Stutzman on the stop for Oklahoma. Now, you don't know how many opportunities like this you're going to have if you're Kent State, so while 3 would be nice, you really want to see if you can find pay dirt.
Well, we know how these games go. You're not going to win this game by kicking field goals. Right. So that mindset has to be in Sean Lewis's mind when he's making the decision to call this play. So look for it to maybe be in the running game to maybe pick up 1 or 2, knowing you're going to go for it on 4th down.
Oklahoma's had 14 plays this whole game. This is the 14th play of the drive. A 3rd and short. Oklahoma smothering defense. A loss. It's Stutzman again. Cooper had nowhere to go, and it'll be 4th and long, and that'll make that decision easy.
Didn't really like the outside play call. Now, Oklahoma does a great job of pushing it east and west rather than north and south, and they're able with their speed to run it down, and Stutzman once again makes a big tackle.
Andrew Glass is the kicker. This will be from 37 yards on the left hash. Snap and hold are true. Kick is on the way, and it is perfect. So a lengthy drive for Kent State. The Golden Flashes strike first. 3-0 our score. First half from Norman. There's been a lot of stunning scores already today in college football. It's really early, but this one's certainly stunning so far. Kent State out to a 3-0 lead after a 15-play, 72-yard drive.
Stunning, too, after the way that Kent State got kind of blown out of the water by the University of Washington last week in Seattle. But I will say this. They talked about the grit that they had late in that game. Not giving up a touchdown late and then turning around and getting one on their own. Something that can motivate, push them forward to the next game. And clearly, they've benefited from their time together, kind of coming together with this 10-day road trip.
Yeah, 10 days. Most of it they've been in Tulsa. In a hotel, you still had study group every day, 1 to 5. Not sacrificing the life of a student athlete, but coaching staff was pretty adamant about the fact they think it was a positive to be together on the road that long. Bowman on the return, lassoed down at the 13, a violent hit. And it will not be very good field position for Oklahoma when we come back. Sooners still down 3-0. Back with you from Norman, a surprising score midway through the 2nd quarter. Kent State leading at 3-0. The drive summary brought to you by Fowler Auto Group, being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. And so far, the Oklahoma offense, which has been held in check to just 49 total yards, rather. And you see, Ryan, the drive chart, 3 plays, 4 plays, 7 plays. None of the drives have gone farther than 30 yards.
You know, looking what Jeremiah Johnson talked to us about this week and the familiarity with the offense, very similar in what both teams do. If you're a defensive player for Kent State, what you're seeing, what your eyeballs are telling you when you're trying to react is very similar to what you've seen all fall camp. So nothing's confusing them right now. They've been very good on the defensive side of the football.
Gabriel, the lefty, lasers that one in, and that'll be a first down. Second effort. That is Daniel Parker. First time we've called his name today, the transfer from Missouri. And remember, he missed the first game. As the coaching staff described it, he missed it due to the sniffles.
This day and age, you got to be careful of those sniffles.
Stuffed on first down, that time modest gain for Javante Barnes.
Defensive coordinator Jeremiah Johnson. He talked to us about what they need to do. Of course, they had to limit the explosive plays, right? And one of the things that I really like to hear from him, keep them in front of him. He even acknowledged that if they're even, it's over. Not even if they're past them. If they're just even, they're leaving, and that's a bad sign. So they're going to keep everything in front of them and try to get them to the ground.
Feels like it's about time for a big play for Marvin Mims. Instead, they'll keep it on the ground. Second effort banging his way ahead. Javante Barnes, talented freshman out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They'll gobble up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Impressed with this Kent State defense. How they're staying physical. How they're getting guys on the ground and only allowing short yardage pickups.
Gabriel shuffles and rifles one complete at the 37. Second effort, dragging defenders is Daniel Parker all the way to the 40-yard line. First down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. You heard it right. Learn more at paycom.com. On first down, Gabriel. Penalty flags on the play, and Gabriel will stagger back to the line of scrimmage. C.J. West was breathing down his neck, and he's down on the ground. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that needs to be said.
That's all. It's a collective wince here in the booth. Meanwhile, I see 2 penalty flags. I see one near the Oklahoma 40 and the other one near the Kent State 40.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, number 34. That penalty is declined. Substitution infraction, 12 players. 5-yard penalty will be enforced. First down.
All right, so Oklahoma catches a break. We haven't had too many penalties, but a rather clean first half thus far, but there's the infraction on the substitution.
When you try to make a substitution, when you got a team that goes fast with tempo, you get caught, and that's exactly what happened there. So you had the 12 on the field, and then of course the guy running off the field was offsides because he was on the other side of the line of scrimmage as he was running off the field, not in time. It gives him a quick 5 yards to set up a very big play opportunity time, 1st and 5.
We know what the advantages are running up tempo, but as a former quarterback, is there anything that you found more challenging with up tempo that maybe you missed out on without spending more time?
Sometimes I wanted to fully understand what I was going to get defensively, and when you're going up tempo like that, you make them commit really to what they're doing. So you, as a quarterback, you love it.
Again, Oklahoma's ground game has been completely held in check. Before that last play, 6 rushing yards in the half. It's not as if it's not for a lack of trying. They've run several run plays, but they have not found a whole lot of creases. On second down, back to the ground, and again nothing there. Javante Barnes is bottled up. It'll be 3rd down and 4. 13 rushes for 7 yards right now for the Sooners.
And you know who's up at the line of scrimmage almost all game so far? DJ Miller, right? A corner playing in a nickel kind of position has really made an impact. Watch him way up here at the line of scrimmage. He just explodes right there, dives underneath the big left tackle and makes the play.
On 3rd down, clean pocket. Gabriel broken up on the play. Intended for Jalil Farouk, who caught a pass last week, but terrific coverage. That's their best cover corner, number 21, Montre Miller. We've been bragging about Michael Turk, but we didn't think we'd see him this often in the first half. One of the top punters in college football. And he misfires on this one. Bad punt off the side of his foot. It'll be decent field position for Kent State. 3-0. Golden Flashes with the lead here in the first half.
Colin Schlee, the young quarterback from Kent State, has filled the role today. Using his feet, he's in firm control of what they're doing in the offense, especially with the triple option. And then he's making big plays outside the pocket here. Running the game, running the ball, and then here spins out and watch this throw. Going to his left, sidearms it, puts it perfectly on the sideline. Yeah, that's a catch, Mr. Schlee. Keep it going.
Yeah, that's the throw of the game. And really the passing game advantage today has gone to Kent State. Brian Bradford picking up 1st down yardage on that play. Colin Schlee has been smooth, battle tested again. A road trip last week against Washington. There you see the screen set up for Brian Bradford. First down yardage, 5 minutes remaining in that first half. A 3-0 game. Kent State's going to take on Georgia in a couple weeks. They've got maybe the most brutal non-con schedule in all of college football. Stonewalled that time was Brian Bradford. Jordan Kelly and Jalen Redmond bottled them up.
The game plan offensively, what Sean Lewis and his staff have put together, of taking their time, using the up-tempo to make sure they're seeing a lot of the similar looks on defense, but then finding the play you want to be in. Here's another example of looking like they're lining up in the Wildcat, put Schlee out at the wide receiver position, and now they'll move back again. This is the third time they've done that. Well, Oklahoma isn't really reacting to it too much, maybe knowing they're going to bounce back into it.
And every time Schlee winds up taking the snap, immediately hands off to Bradford, tripped up by Billy Bowman, who racks up another tackle after a gain of 5. And this is what we were talking about. I mean, you can design your schedule in a myriad of ways, but at Washington, at Oklahoma, at Georgia, I mean, that is murderer's row out of conference, but a lot of people think this Kent State team will be in the MAC championship game.
Well, Coach Lewis talked to us about the life lessons learned by playing this type of schedule, the adversity you have to overcome, because no one expects you to be in these games. And look right now, this is exactly what they're playing the game for.
On a 3rd and 5, Schlee on a keeper, wiggling. Schlee makes something out of nothing, breaks another tackle at the 45, and angles out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Holy smokes, Colin Schlee's got some wheels.
Watch him here. He almost gets tackled in the backfield and then slides through, breaks another tackle, makes number 4 miss, and then is off and running. The speed, I think, is surprising a lot of people watching the game, and in particular, this Oklahoma defense.
A 17-yard gallop, and Kent State in plus territory.
91-7 is the disparity in rushing yards.
That might be the most surprising stat in this game. Almost a gift pick that time. Oh my goodness. That was thrown right at Ethan Downs, the defensive end.
As a quarterback, you never really take into consideration when you have a defensive lineman, in particular the end, drops back into coverage. Now, Colin Schlee had probably never seen that type of zone drop right there. So, of course, he wasn't looking. And you can't expect a guy like Ethan Downs, who doesn't use his hands to catch the football, to pull it in. But great job of knocking it down.
A 2nd and 10. Schlee straight ahead running. Bradford stopped for a loss. Isaiah Coe, big number 94, plugging up the middle. It'll be a loss of 1.
Here comes 605 pounds of defensive front, taking the young running back down to the ground for a loss. I did quick math there.
I like it. Was good.
Yeah.
How about this for Matt? 7 tackles for loss for the Oklahoma defense. And this will set up a 3rd down and 11. Trips to the near side with Schlee out of the shotgun.
He can use his eyes. He's got a one-on-one matchup to the top of your screen.
And a timeout called by Kent State. First of its kind for the Golden Flashes.
Kent State has called their first charge timeout of the half. Full timeout.
Big 3rd and 11 coming up when we come back from Norman. Kent State trying to tack on to a 3-0 lead. Another impressive drive as we look at our Phillips 66 upcoming schedule. At Nebraska. Last year, Oklahoma defeating the Cornhuskers here at the friendly confines. That'll be in Lincoln, and K-State at TCU. Texas on October the 8th. Always a huge game on the schedule. It'll wrap up November 26th in Lubbock against the Red Raiders. On 3rd and long, shotgun snap, pass complete near the 30, wiggling, and second effort by Dante Cephas. That is why they believe he is going to be an NFL wideout in the very near future.
I was a little skeptical of him going back inside there because it looked like he had some opening to the outside, but he makes it work and gets it by a few inches.
Drive continues. Fresh set of downs. Schleen, not this time. Buried in the backfield. Danny Stutzman has had a terrific first half, a loss of 2.
Stutzman's a great name for a linebacker.
Isn't it?
It just is.
Stutzman.
He just stops people in their tracks right there for another tackle for loss.
Kind of use it as a verb. He got Stutzman.
Oklahoma has called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:23. 1:23.
We've talked a lot about Sean Lewis in this first half and what he has brought to the table at Kent State. This is before the game, getting everybody hyped up and loose and ready to go. I mean, again, they're playing with house money, right? And nobody expects Kent State to come into Norman and have a chance of winning this game. Going around, we're talking about a former tight end for Wisconsin. So he's not a finesse guy, even though he's an offensive mastermind. He's got some toughness behind that beard and bald dome.
You know, we sat down around the 40-yard line talking before the game, and he looked at me and he said, "How great is this?
Yeah.
To be in this atmosphere."
Oh, yeah.
He loves what he gets to do. I told him I love what I get to do. I get to go to these great college cathedrals every single week and call football games, and we both were like sitting in a lot of gratitude together, and clearly his team is showcasing that.
His team is playing well, and you're talking about one of the best home field advantages in all of college football, Memorial Stadium. 29 of the last 30 contests here.
Oklahoma has called their second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Oklahoma has been a winner. The 142nd consecutive sellout. The only streak longer belongs to Nebraska, speaking of the Cornhuskers. And you look at Oklahoma, I mean, first of all, no program in college football has won more games in the 21st century than Oklahoma. They had a streak of 6 consecutive Big 12 titles before last year when Baylor took the crown. Now the question becomes, okay, Coach Venables in town first year. Can Oklahoma take the trophy back this year?
Well, I think with what this fan base has witnessed over the last 7 years with Lincoln Riley at the helm, right? It's been offense, explosive. Alex Grinch has had to try to catch up with the defensive side of things, and then you bring in Brent Venables, and you hope that you can keep the same type of offensive explosiveness and still have the great defense behind it.
That play had no chance. Trying to set up what looked like a little bubble screen. Oklahoma had players all around Devontae Walker, including number 9, DJ Graham. So the drive will stall and another field goal attempt.
Wonderful recognition here. He's almost right there in the backfield, making the tackle as the ball is being thrown to Devontae Walker.
Last hit from 37 earlier. This will be from 41. Again from the left hash. And wide left, not this time. Glass can't convert the second time. The drive will result in 0 points. And Oklahoma will have a minute and change and 2 timeouts to work with.
Snapped it a little to the left there. Now this sets up for Oklahoma to really finish the half because they used the timeout, right? By using the timeout, they secure some clock time. Still have 2 timeouts in their pocket, as well as the ball coming out in the second half. So this could really be, a flip of the scoreboard if they're able to be successful offensively.
Hey, you'd like to get something positive. I mean, 77 total yards in this first half. I'll add on to the total as Eric Gray catches it out of the backfield. 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Quickly lining up for second down. Gabriel from the pocket slings one complete at the 37, banging bodies at the 40 and down to the 43-yard line. That is Theo Weiss.
Would have liked to see him get out of bounds there, simply just to stop the clock. It stops it for the first down. I get it. Gets out of bounds. They would have had a little more time.
Empty backfield, 5 wide, and a penalty drops.
Running back getting out to line up in the spread formation, didn't get set before the snap.
Does that drive you crazy as a quarterback? Because this is a frantic mode. You don't time for penalties right now.
Well, if you get out of bounds there on that play, too, you don't have to worry about this because you don't have to rush.
Start offense. Not all 11 players were set at the snap. Oklahoma is elected to take a timeout to avoid a 10-second runoff. 30-second timeout.
That's a double whammy. You have to burn a timeout to preserve the precious seconds that are left. 36 instead of it would have been a 10-second runoff in 26.
When you're a young wide receiver and you're going through the 2-minute.
That is Oklahoma's third and final timeout of the half.
All right. That is their third and final timeout. Your screen you were watching showed that there was still 2 timeouts left for Oklahoma. Now they're out of them. Now, not to harp on what could have been there, right? If he gets out of bounds,
right,
clock stops around 48 seconds. Then they don't have to rush to the line of scrimmage to set up the next play, and instead have a false start penalty, and then ultimately have to burn a timeout instead of taking the 10-second runoff. They've really kind of shot themselves in the foot all first half, and it's something that Jeff Lebby and this team is going to have to kind of have a come-to-Jesus talk in the locker room so we don't see it showcased in the second half.
Yeah, it could be a very spirited conversation at halftime. That ball's right on target at midfield, and that is Marvin Mims, who's been rather quiet, but that's your go-to guy. That's your biggest deep threat and your best overall threat in the passing game.
And if you're going to watch Marvin Mims have a defensive back sitting 10, 12 yards back, take that all day.
Second and short. Gabriel will do just that. You read that one, Ryan. Marvin Mims with a big cushion. They take advantage.
I mean, if you're a corner, you've been so aggressive all game long. Here, Dylan Gabriel just does the same thing. Mims runs out there 10, 12 yards, turns around, steps out of bounds, and stops the clock.
26 seconds left. Gabriel looks left now, going deep down the sideline. Touchdown! Marvin Mims. 36-yard score, and Oklahoma's on the board. When we asked the coaching staff, Ryan, what do you like most about Marvin Mims' top end speed? Those 3 words on display right there.
Definitely. And Dylan Gabriel did a tremendous job with his eyes, holding that safety that allowed that top end speed of Mims to find that little gap between the cover 2 corner and the safety.
It was one of the quickest drives of the first half for Oklahoma, and certainly the most successful. A 5-play, 76-yard touchdown drive. The extra point hammered home by Zach Schmidt. That 76-yard drive took 52 seconds off the clock.
They're explosive, and they know they can score that fast. It's just a matter of being able to execute. Watch his eyes. Does a tremendous job, looks back over the middle, holds that safety, and then is able to find that pocket right down the left side. Too late for the defensive back to get over that. JoJo Evans couldn't get there. He was swayed by Gabriel's eyes. Wonderful job by the quarterback, dictating where and when he can throw the football.
Sooner Schooner getting some work finally after the score. The drive summary brought to you by Fowler Auto Group. Being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. 5 plays, 76 yards. The story on the drive, Dylan Gabriel looked sharp. 5 for 5 and 81 yards.
You know, that's the response. When I just talked about you need to roll up and get in front of Mims and not allow him just to run down 12 yards. Well, you do that. They run the play that allows Mims to go straight down the football field. That safety's got to be deeper. And just what Coach talked to us about, when you're even, you're losing, and that's what happened there.
Fielded at the goal line. Cooper dropped it, scooped it up. And now reversing field at the 15 and is finally stacked up at the 16-yard line with 10 seconds remaining in half number 1.
Drastic shift, right? Brent Venables got to be very pleased with that. And I know this these players are going to feel a little bit more warmth as they head to the locker room, knowing they're going to get the ball in the second half.
Well, let's remember, it's a new head coach, it's a new coordinator, it's a new quarterback, new wide receivers. They also lost their top tailback, Kennedy Brooks, who ran for over 3,300 yards. So there's a lot of things that are still getting acclimated here in Norman.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we talked about in the open, right? The fear of the unknown. You don't quite know what it's going to look like, and you have to be patient and understand they're going to figure it out because all these coaches are exceptionally good.
Not a finished product by any means for Coach Levy and this offense, as Kent State will keep it conservative. A good half for the Golden Flashes, a good finish for the Sooners with that 76-yard drive taking all of 52 seconds to get Oklahoma on the board. And a reminder, Oklahoma will get the ball first in the second half. Alex Chappell looking for head coach Brent Venables. Hope to hear from Coach here momentarily before he enters the locker room. The sellout crowd, the 142nd consecutive sellout here at Memorial Stadium. Quiet much of the way, but something to cheer about there late. As we send it down to Alex for our Coach Spotlight with Brent Venables, brought to you by Landers Auto Group, proud partner of Oklahoma Athletics. Alex?
Thanks, guys. Well, Coach Venables, what a drive there going into the locker room. The connection between Dylan Gabriel and Marvin Mims. What did you like that you saw as your offense was trying to get its rhythm?
Well, we need to do more of what we were just doing there on that 2-minute drill. Now, they did a great job of executing a 2-minute drill to perfection. Great job by the defense holding them and missed the field goal. Sometimes you got to get lucky, whatever it takes. And hopefully we get a little momentum going into here at halftime.
On the other side, Colin Schlee having his way a bit, but what can you say about the job your defense has done?
Again, we got to clean a lot of stuff up, from getting lined up to tackling, poor tackling. Haven't been very good on third down. Again, we had 2 offside penalties. You got to have more discipline than that. And that's why it's a dogfight right now, tackling and not being disciplined like we need to be on defense.
Thanks, Coach. Guys.
Alex, appreciate you much. Should be a spirited conversation at the half. Our halftime score, 7-3, Oklahoma in the lead.
Welcome back. You are watching Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus, and the Sooners lead Kent State 7-3. I am joined now by Oklahoma President Joe Harris. And sir, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us right now and join us down here on the field. What an exciting time. Football is back. The Brent Venables era is underway. Yeah. What was it about him that made him the right fit for the head coach of Oklahoma?
Yeah, he's an extraordinary pick. He'd been here before, as we all know, and he took off, did amazing things where he was. And whenever we flew out to go find our next coach, we were having the conversation with he and his family, and I just jumped up and said, "You're the guy. We want to hire you. Will you accept the job?" He personifies all the things we want. Excellence, but excellence the right way. And so we couldn't be more proud to start the Venables era at the University of Oklahoma.
And so going into halftime now, the Sooners take the lead. This has been a tough place for opponents to play. You all have the best winning percentage among all Power 5 schools. How would you describe the atmosphere here?
Yeah, electric. I mean, it's family and it's electric in 2 words. Every game here is exciting. Every game matters. And when the family's all together, we can't be stopped.
And then for the fans not here today, but watching at home on Sooner Vision, a lot of exciting things happening here at the university. Just what can you tell the fans and what's coming up for Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's a stunning time at the University of Oklahoma. You see what's happening on the field, but the last 2 years we've had record enrollments. 25% of the students here are the first in the history of their family to go to college. Record research, record giving from our alumni. There are really important, life-changing things happening here, from the health sciences here to the Norman campus. It really is a wonderful time to be a Sooner.
Oh, President Harris, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Well, still a lot more to come on Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus. Mike and Ryan will see you back on the other side of the break.
Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus is presented by Mathis Brothers, the preferred furniture sponsor of OU Athletics. Upgrade your palace and shop now at mathisbrothers.com. Alongside Ryan Lee, Mike Morgan back with you. Beautiful Memorial Stadium on a Saturday night in Norman. 142nd consecutive sellout, over 80,000 strong in attendance. Rather quiet first half for both offenses. Let's have some fun here in the second half. Maybe some fireworks. Oklahoma will get it first. The Sooners held in check until that final drive of the half, in which Dillon Gabriel was a perfect 5 for 5. Mims catching the touchdown pass from 36 yards out. Kent State predicted to be in the MAC championship game, trying to pick up where they left off. Oklahoma looking for a big play on special teams, getting to the boundary, out of bounds past the 30 is Billy Bowman, and he used some of his electricity to get to the 32-yard line as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Mike, we had a chance to catch up with Coach Lewis about Kent State. He says he likes what he sees from his defense. He says they've done a great job with limiting the explosive plays, and they're winning on third down. On the other side, really pleased with Colin Schlee's leadership. He says he's controlling the pace of play. He loves the decision-making, but now they've just got to finish.
At third down, Kent State was 6 for 11. Oklahoma 1 for 6 on third down. On first down, it's a missile complete to Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, the highly decorated prep star out of Lone Star High School in Frisco, Texas, poised to have another big year in the Big 12.
And they're just taking what they give him right now. Marvin Mims is running out to about 5 or 6 yards or wherever the defensive back is, and Dillon Gabriel's been right on the spot with him.
Gabriel with time, deep shot down the sideline. Mims got tangled up, all kinds of contact, and there is the flag at around the 10-yard line. JoJo Evans might have gotten away with the first infraction, but not the second.
When you match up one-on-one like that, and you allow that much time for Dillon Gabriel.
Pass interference, defense number 23, 15-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And when you don't get your head around to see where the ball is, you're most likely going to run it. And if you're a good wide receiver like Mims has been able to, his ability to come back through the body, right, that allows the penalty to be called much easier by the official.
Gabriel, quick pass into the flat, caught at the 45. That's Drake Stoops. And if the last name sounds familiar, of course, the son of the legendary head coach Bob Stoops. Stoops had 2 grabs last week in the victory over UTEP. That one goes for 5. Second down. Behind the left side of the line, first down yardage for Eric Gray. Eric Gray, who was a Jeremy Pruitt recruit at Tennessee, winds up transferring to Oklahoma. And the first down is brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. You heard it right. Learn more at paycom.com. Quick snap on first down. Another pass complete. Another reception for Drake Stoops, the senior out of Norman.
Wonderful route here, perfectly thrown ball, and watch him keep continuing to come back to the ball. That's what a receiver has to do for your quarterback, because it doesn't allow for Weezy Richardson to come through his body.
Gray grinds his way for a few more behind the right side of that offensive line. Oklahoma picking up where they left off on the last drive of the first half. First drive of the second half looking good. Again to the ground game. And that time Gray taken down after a gain of a couple. Nico Bolden on the stop for Kent State.
I'm really impressed with these safeties for the Golden Flashes and their ability to come downhill. And watch him meet him in the hole and just absolutely decleat him onto the ground.
Second and 8. Again, it's going to be Major breaking a tackle at the 10, and he'll skip into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma from 16 yards out.
What a move to go lateral. Make a guy miss and then jaunt into the end zone.
Seven-play, 68-yard drive, and that only took 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Schmidt hammers home the extra point. It's a 14-3 ball game.
Marcus Major, the junior, makes a guy miss and then just jaunts into the end zone to put him up 14-3.
Now this drive summary brought to you by Fowler Auto Group. Being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. How about the last two drives? After zero success for much of the first half, a 5-play, 76-yard drive, a 7-play, 68-yard touchdown drive. Back to back, the Oklahoma offense has gotten its wake-up call.
You'd say it was a matter of time with this offense and how explosive they can be. But I do think the connection between Gabriel and Mims there at the end of the second half and how it started and kind of kick-started this drive as well. The big penalty down the football field helped. But this team looks like it has found a little bit of a rhythm on offense. And we'll see if the defense can contribute right back here in the second half.
And let's see how the Oklahoma defense comes out. I mean, they took Colin Schlee's best shot. Colin Schlee put on a display. I know the scoreboard doesn't indicate only 3 points, but he was terrific in the first 30 minutes. Losing his footing is Marquez Cooper, their top running back. Marquez Cooper, the junior, out of the state of Maryland, squeezes out a couple yards. It'll be 2nd and 8.
All right, this is the 4th time they've done this tonight where they've lined up in Wildcat.
And they're actually going to go through with it this time or not? What's behind door number 3? Not. High snap to Schlee. Keeps it. Looking to run. Now throws late and hits his target at the 38. Penalty flag flies. Down to the 44 is Raymond James. If it stands, it's a first down and a gain of 15.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive linemen downfield. Waiting that long to get rid of the ball. Some of those guys can start just grazing a little bit down the football field.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Well, you used to be able to get away with that a lot more in college football until enough defensive coordinators said, no, call this.
Well, I think when you run in an RPO and when the game changed to that, defensive coordinators had to have that put in place. Right. Otherwise, they just would be at such a
indefensible,
such a disadvantage.
Yeah. 2nd and 13 as they're backed up after the penalty to the 22-yard line. Man in motion is James. Fake the handoff, throw over the middle, complete. At the 35-yard line, Devontae Walker. Ball comes out late. And Oklahoma's got it. Fumble recovery by Billy Bowman, the sophomore from Denton, Texas, who is quickly becoming one of the best safeties in this league.
Not only has he been a great cover guy, but this is a perfect example of when the ball is thrown, rallying, and when a guy is under the control of one of your teammates, just ripping it out. And that's exactly what happened here, and he gets the recovery. Perfect example, good job of holding the football, putting it right on the money. But watch Billy Bowman make the tackle. As soon as he knows he isn't going anywhere, he just rips it from the arms of the receiver and recovers it himself.
Just pick the pocket right there. You hold up the receiver long enough, strip it away. Oklahoma, let's see if they go for the kill shot on 1st down. Nothing open downfield. Little swing pass to Major. And Major accelerates down the sideline to the 22-yard line of 1st down. How about the day for Bowman? 10 tackles now to go along with that forced fumble.
He's been a force all game from his safety position.
Had 9 tackles a week ago. Gabriel tries to thread the needle that time to his tight end, Braden Willis. They haven't been able to hit the tight ends. Willis and Parker have been pretty much held in check so far in this first half. It's basically been the Marvin Mims show in the passing game. And off right side, big hole past the 15, and popped and dropped at the 11-yard line is Marcus Major, a gain of 12.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
The offensive line had to have been challenged at halftime, really opening up a big hole for Major to get the first down.
That is Tyler Guyton, who actually started last week. 6'7", 320-pound sophomore, a transfer from TCU. Their best prospect on the line is the left tackle Anton Harrison, number 71.
He kind of was a little gimpy there, coming back to the huddle as well. It's rare when you get asked to get at your left guard as well as your left tackle to pull in those situations, right? You know they're able to run and do. When they got out on the run there, they got chopped up a little bit. See how they respond.
Under 11 minutes to go, third quarter. Gabriel, shake and bake. Nifty move, but not much there. Stumbles down to the 11-yard line. No gain on the play.
Oklahoma, number 71, lost his helmet during the play. He must go out for one down.
And that is the aforementioned Anton Harrison.
Little zone read here. Keeps the ball, tries to make a guy miss. He certainly does that, but quickly on top of him is Pierre and Johns.
It's a 27th career start for Gabriel. There's that one in the flat to Mims. Gabriel at UCF, 72 career touchdown passes. That's the third highest total of any active quarterback this year in college football. Another quarterback from the state of Hawaii, which has become quite a feeder for top-rated quarterbacks out of the prep ranks here of late. Gabriel cocks and fires, complete at the 10. And shoved out of bounds inside the 5. That's Theo Weiss. Weiss, five-star receiver out of high school out of Allen, Texas, but he missed almost all of last year with a foot injury. Fourth down. They're going, Ryan.
They jump off sides.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
You know, one of the things Brent Venables told us is that we need to clean some things up around here. This is the kind of play they're talking about, right?
Right. When a defender decides to stem like that, that's the hope. You get an offensive lineman to react. Exactly what happens. Antoine Harrison, who you're talking about just a little while earlier, makes the decision easier for Brent Venables now.
Brent Venables is definitely an attention to detail kind of guy. So the 25-yard chip shot, and that'll split the uprights off the right foot of Zach Schmidt. 17-3, Oklahoma's offense has come alive here in Norman on a Saturday night. Temperatures dropping here in Norman. Offense heating up after a cold start, particularly in the first half. And look at those first 4 drives. Punt, 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 punt. Couldn't get anything going on the ground whatsoever. And then the last drive of the first half, where they really had to go hurry up, they just marched right down the field. 5 plays, 76 yards. They have not looked back since. 3 consecutive scoring drives, accounting for Oklahoma's 17 points. And now, Ryan Leaf, if you're Kent State, you've just taken some body blows from Oklahoma. How do you bounce back?
Well, the way they responded on the last drive is they turned it over, right? So that can't be the response here. They have to go back to what was working with them, and that was running the football, right? Picking up 3-4 yards, putting themselves in manageable third down and distances. When they get behind the chains, they're asked to kind of be somebody that they're not. And as we've seen today, only 3 first down conversions on third down.
I wonder if we see a deep shot at some point to Dante Cephas. He's their game breaker. Instead, they'll go underneath. And that'll be Cooper. Plenty of wiggle in his game. Stutzman on the stop, but not before a gain of 11.
There's going to be a lot of good that Sean Lewis can take from this game. The way they competed and how they battled, especially when Oklahoma hit them in the mouth here in the second half.
I'll tell you, I had Northern Illinois in the bowl game last year, the Cure Bowl in Orlando. Northern Illinois is predicted to win the MAC Penn State's predicted to win the East. Ooh, that's a tough shot. Cooper runs into some equipment there out of bounds. Billy Bowman was there to escort him there. But I'm still, no matter how this score winds up, I'm impressed to the point where you and I have done some MAC games over the years. If there's a better offense in the MAC, I don't know who it is.
But stiff arm gets shoved right into the communications.
That'll leave a mark. But can't you see this team just lighten up scoreboards in the MAC this year?
I really can.
I mean, look at that arm from Schlee. It is impressive. That's another frozen rope, and there is the playmaking receiver, Dante Cephas. They call him the Slim Reaper because when he got to campus, he was extremely skinny out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Look at his eyes. Way to take a safety away with his eyes. Keeps that safety away from getting underneath the route. He puts it right on the money.
Last time Kent State had a wide receiver drafted, it was Julian Edelman in '09. He was the quarterback at Kent State, but they saw potential in him being a wideout, and that worked out pretty well for New England. Schlee hands it off. And again, a steady dose of Marquez Cooper.
Going back to the Julian Edelman draft, right? I mean, Bill Belichick, he drafts athletes a lot of time, right? And when you go and draft a guy like that, he certainly wasn't going to replace Tom Brady as a quarterback. They found a way for him, and he started out with special teams and became ultimately one of the best wide receivers that New England had had.
Yeah, pretty clutch guy in the playoffs, too. A loss of a yard makes it 2nd down and 11. Schlee with pressure, somehow evades it, and finally goes down. Sack. Who else? Danny Stutzman, who has been terrific through the first 2 games of the season.
They bring a blitz, and he's able to step away from it, but Stutzman, who was stopped at the line of scrimmage, just follows him down and rips him to the ground.
Sophomore out of Windermere, Florida, 6'4", 240, Danny Stutzman. Kent State's been good on 3rd down, 6 for 11, but this will be a tall task, 3rd and 16.
It's the loudest we've heard the crowd all night.
I know, they've come alive here in the 2nd half, and that might have caused an issue as the play clock hits 0.
Game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They have won 92% of their games at this stadium since 1999. That's the start of the Bob Stoops era, and that's the start of Oklahoma's dominance. Great tradition. Wilkinson, Switzer, Stoops. Brent Venables hopes to be the latest in the long line of Hall of Fame coaches with this program. Incomplete at the 45. That one was flat out dropped by Raymond James.
Little anticipatory. He tries to take off and run before the ball actually gets to his body. I don't know if it would have made much of a difference being so far behind the sticks here.
Now, Oklahoma's defense comes through. Oklahoma's offense has scored on its last 3 possessions. Mims back to receive the punt from Josh Smith. Rugby style, fielded at the 14 on a fair catch. There's a penalty flag all the way back at the 40. Do we have a roughing the punter here?
I don't think so, because they did a little rugby run out to the right, and the flag is over here on the left. I think that might have been a hold.
Our 2 tickets to the gun show referee will alert us of the call here in just a moment.
Equipment violation on the offense. There were 2 number 31s on the play. That 5-yard penalty will be added at the end of the kick.
in case you were wondering how windy it's gotten, you got a good listen to it there with our referee microphone. Here's a look at that Oklahoma program history we were just alluding to. 7 national championships, 31 bowl championships, 50 conference titles, 14 in the Big 12, 7 Heisman Trophy winners, including a couple of recent quarterbacks. And of course, it won't be too long before Oklahoma will be battling for SEC championships, and that's something we chatted with Brent Venables about. He really believes, first off, that was part of what was enticing about this job. There was plenty of things already, but that, the ability to sell recruits on the future of playing in the SEC, it only helps this program's profile.
And I think he loves the challenge.
Yeah.
Personal foul, low block, defense number 31. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, and let's look. Brent Venables, when he was at Clemson under Dabo Swinney, they played their fair share of SEC opponents. They had the upper hand against South Carolina every year during his tenure, and they played programs like Georgia and others.
On player 35.
Well, that would make sense because we didn't have a number. Actually, I don't see a 30. There we go. DJ Miller. Oh. Big run. Cut back at the 45. It's a foot race for Eric Gray. And finally lassoed down at the 20 by Nico Bolden.
Tackling in space is a huge part of this game. And when you get one-on-one situations like this, you have to get them on the ground. Watch him make and miss where he plants his foot in the ground and just goes. And then it's a foot race.
A former Tennessee Volunteer, Eric Gray, with the biggest run of the game for the Sooners tonight. 44 yards on that scoop.
You know, I kind of talked about it a little bit that Jeff Lebby probably challenged this offensive line in terms of, you know, imposing their will, and they have to come out here in the third quarter.
On second down, a little short toss by Gabriel. Shake and bake, Stoops, dives. Touchdown! What a play!
You guys want to see some good body control? Wait till you see what Drake Stoops does as he balances along the sideline here, making a guy miss to get into the end zone.
The son of Oklahoma's all-time coaching wins leader, Bob Stoops, Drake Stoops, with a beautiful catch and score.
Drake Stoops. Watch him make 2 guys miss and then absolutely with one shoe tiptoe his way down the sideline to get into the end zone. Sooners up 21-3.
24-3 our score. Oh, how this game has changed in a big, big way. Oklahoma's offense sputtering much of the first half. They have scored on every drive since. Drive summary brought to you by Fowler Auto Group. Being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. A 4-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. Capped off by Drake Stoops, his first touchdown of the season. The key for Oklahoma in all these drives, no third downs. They haven't needed third down. That was the problem spot for Oklahoma in the first half, was converting on third down, but pretty much a moot point when you're able to move the chains on first and second.
Yeah, they've been incredibly good on first down in the second half. That allows for Dylan Gabriel to do some of the things there where he boots out there and pretty much just hands the ball to Drake Stoops, who does the rest and gets into the end zone.
I think I know what the problem was. They were waiting for nightfall. The team played better when it got dark out. The crowd got louder. Everything seems better here in Norman once the sun dissipated. Good pass play, Schlee hitting the tight end, Chris Leach, his first grab into plus territory.
Incredible play design here by Sean Lewis. He fakes the handoff and allows the fullback to get out to the flat, and then no one was there to pick him up in man coverage, and away he went.
Schlee hands off. Getting to the boundary and knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's Bradford. Agwebu on the tackle, the middle linebacker for OU.
Good job of getting man on man. Maybe got away with a little hold there on Grimes, but stays on his feet to pick up the first down.
Pump fake. Scrambling. Somehow gets out of incredible danger and then pushes ahead for 9 yards. Josh Ellison on the stop, but what a play by Colin Schlee.
Incredibly impressive. Just the fact that he was able to get out of some of these tackles and pick up 9 yards. Stutzman, who's been all over the place, he makes him miss. And
back to the ground game. Good open field tackle. Bradford looked like he had an angle. Instead, it was Justin Broyles, the free safety, putting them down to the turf.
good response drive here by Kent State to see how they can punctuate it. A touchdown would go a long ways for their confidence.
Trips to the left side for Schlee. Schlee, 9 of 16, 104 yards thus far. Gets the snap. And a straight ahead run by Bradford. Stutzman. How many tackles is that now for Danny Stutzman, who's having a whirlwind day so far? At 9 stops last week, he's got 10 today.
Between him and Bowman, right?
Yeah.
Their ability to get up near the line of scrimmage, and he's just little eagle bruise there after missing out on Schlee. He's Johnny on the spot right there.
Second down and 7. High snap, handoff between the tackles, banging bodies, and brought down to the 21 is Cooper. Who else? Stutzman will at least get an assist on that tackle. Jeffrey Johnson might have also been in on the stop for Oklahoma.
All right, we got 3rd and manageable, right where Kent State would like to be. They have the full disposal of their play calling here, because most likely they'll go for it on 4th down if they don't pick it up. 1-on-1 at the top of your screen here.
Cooper, the lone back. They fake it to him, toss out in the flat, and just shy, I believe, to tight end Keenan Orr, his first reception.
He may score if he keeps him on his feet here with this throw. One of the few poor throws, or at least inaccurate throws, that we've seen from Colin Schlee today.
Again, they fake the Wildcat, or do they? Then it's about 5 times now. Schlee has gotten a snap every time, but he won't get it here. Instead, it'll be Cooper, and Cooper is stopped dead in his tracks. Stutzman again. Danny Stutzman now with 12 tackles.
The outside linebacker just walked to the end of the line of scrimmage, kind of in a 9 technique, and just crashed down from the outside to make the big stop. Must be the frosted tips, really.
Was that your secret back in the day?
Let's not go there. Watch him just run down the line of scrimmage. There's no one blocking him, and he's just so good at getting the guy to the ground so he doesn't get positive yardage for a first down. Another great stop by the defense. They've really come out to play again here in the second half to complement what the offense has been able to accomplish.
Meanwhile, the offense has scored on its last 4 drives of this game. And movement pre-snap.
Full start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the center, Andrew Rain. Let's say hello to Alex.
Scoring drive for Oklahoma. Dylan Gabriel came over to the bench. He started shaking hands, high-fiving all of his teammates, saying that's how we do it. Earlier this week when I caught up with Braden Willis, he told me Gabriel has just been the, Mike.
Big catch over the middle by Weiss. That'll be a first down. Alex, go ahead. Continue your thought, please. Well, we'll keep going here. 21 yards. They're going to go up tempo. It's tough to get in many reports as fast as this offense is working right now. Speaking of fast, Marcus Major was fast on that run. 9 yards. Now we've got a chance to catch our breath and say hello to Alex.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, so Dillon Gabriel, according to Braden Willis, he says has just been the ultimate teammate right from the start. When he came on the campus, Mike.
Another deep ball caught by Mims. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 58 yards.
This is where Dillon Gabriel's patience pays off. He watched as the safety made a ill-advised decision to take the under route, and Mims just flies down the football field, perfectly thrown in stride for another touchdown.
That is the 14th career 40-yard or more reception in Mims' career. The all-time lead in Oklahoma history. C.D. Lamb, yeah, he was a good one. Now the Cowboys did it 24 times. Marvin Mims is going to cause havoc for Big 12 secondaries throughout this season. I think it's safe to say he's quickly become the favorite target of this man, Dillon Gabriel.
Good job looking up the safety, and then you'll see he's just running wide open down the field. He puts it perfectly in place in stride. Watch his eyes here. Quickly to his left and then right back to his right. No one near him. The safety on the right side here, he for some reason jumps the outside route and allows Mims to walk freely down the field. Sometimes when a guy's that wide open, especially at the quarterback position, it's really difficult to put it on him, right? And that is something good to see if you are a Sooners fan out there, watching them be so in sync with one another.
I liken it to like the great shooter in basketball. The toughest shot sometimes is the wide open one where there's no defender. Isn't it like that for some of your quarterbacks?
It is, and another one is right near the line of scrimmage when you're trying to be as accurate as you can. Right. You sometimes pull the string. In a situation like that, you just don't want to overthrow him.
Sure.
7 catches already tonight, 163 yards, and those 2 big touchdowns. One right before the half, followed up by the big explosive play.
Go back to those 3 words Jeff Levy used to describe Marvin Mims' top end speed. Marvin Mims has that and then some.
Talking with a few quarterback guys that I talked to during the week, saying I was going to get a chance to see Dillon Gabriel this week, and their big question was, we haven't got to see much of him, especially on this high level. Let us know what you think. I think that he's incredibly knowledgeable. He's silky smooth in his delivery, and sometimes lefties really look labored when they're throwing the football, and he's been incredibly accurate tonight.
Schlee delivers a strike at the 40. Weaving his way near midfield is Dante Cephas, go-to target for Colin Schlee. So both primary wide receivers getting involved heavily.
The ability to run the football is huge, and when you're running this run-pass option, it just pulls those safeties and those linebackers down and gives you much more cleaner throwing lanes.
Pocket collapses, and so too does Colin Schlee. Heavy pursuit, Reggie Grimes, Ethan Downs converging on the sack. 11 total tackles for loss now for the Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, they've been living behind the line of scrimmage of Kent State tonight.
We should mention too.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
That is Kelvin Gillian, one of the nose tackles on this defense. Ted Roof, another huge pickup, long-time defensive coordinator. Great pickup for Brent Venables.
Watch, here's Grimes is just relentless, right? He pulls the offensive lineman towards him and then rips by him to meet in the middle there with Ethan Downs, his partner on the edge. To your point, getting Ted Roof is a huge coup for them. Brent Venables has always called defense, right? It's what he's loved. It's what he's always done. So taking a head coaching job, you have to do things differently. You can't micromanage. It's not like when he gets frustrated with anything, he can't just go into the defensive coordinator's office and watch film for 10 hours, right? He's got other things to do, so he needed somebody he could trust. And luckily enough, Ted Roof comes along as an assistant analyst last year with Clemson. And then when he left, he said, hey, you want to come along and call this defense with me?
36 years of experience on the side of Ted Roof. Another tackle for loss. Oh, Jalen Redmond got in there and was on the hunt.
One thing that I've noticed, this Oklahoma Sooners defense, they just flow towards the football so fast, right? They find a gap, and then they just explode through it and get guys on the ground. That's why they're able to get so many tackles for loss, because they get behind the line of scrimmage and are able to get them down to the ground.
Yeah, they have been swarming so far tonight, especially in this second half. When Kent State had some rhythm going on offense in that first half, had some sustained drives, not so much here in the third quarter. And that's going to be the end of quarter number 3.
End of the third quarter. Timeout.
The final 15 from Norman. Coming your way from a sold-out Memorial Stadium. The Sooners heating up offensively. It's Major on a score. It's Gabriel hitting Mims on a deep shot. And the defense has been stout. Sooner Vision football on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Oklahoma made several winning calls in that third quarter. A 24-0 domination. Sooners have scored 31 unanswered points. And what was a ball game early is starting to get away from Kent State. This is a Golden Flashes program with a lot of history. Coaches like Don James and Lou Holtz. Bob Stoops got his start at Kent State.
One season there, yeah.
Players like Jack Lambert, mentioned Julian Edelman, James Harrison. And again, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary of their MAC championship. Nick Saban was in the secondary for that squad. Mims from the 11. Look out. Mims, 30. Mims turns the corner and turns on the Jets before being shoved out of bounds by the kicker. "41-yard return."
This is a wonderful job by the Sooners player here along the sideline after he breaks away from everybody, not to get a block in the back. Watch him just shield him with his body. Perfectly executed. Brett Venables and his staff have to really appreciate that. Kickers usually don't ever want to be in the conversation for tackling, but he's got to be the last resort here.
Yeah, he was too. If Josh Smith doesn't go out of his way, Mims is probably still running on his way to pay dirt. The drive starts in plus territory. Little end around at that time. Gavin Freeman, who had a touchdown last week, is stifled for a minimal gain, if any. Freeman empties the backfield. On second down, we'll call it 9. 3-man rush. Over the middle and a drop. Braid and Willis, who had a big game a week ago with 2 touchdowns, would love to have that one back.
Looked just really uncomfortable with how he put his hands out there. But he led him by probably half a yard.
Now, as a quarterback, what do you tell him when he gets back in the huddle?
My bad. My bad.
Just the second incompletion out of the last 17 throws for Gabriel. That's one that probably should have been reeled in by Willis. Instead, it's 3rd down and 9. They'll play it conservative. Run straight up the middle. It's Javante Barnes, the freshman. Oklahoma does not seem to be in any hurry to get off the field. 4th and 4, looks like they're going.
They're making it look like a cover 2 shell here down at the bottom of your screen. If that's where I want to go with the ball, then Jaden Gibson might be a guy to pitch up about 15 yards at the bottom of your screen.
Meanwhile, the play clock hits 0.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I don't know, do they have any intention of snapping at it, or were they just trying to draw him off sides?
I think they were just trying to draw him off sides. I was too busy trying to figure out what I would like to do in that moment, you know?
I liked your play. I was waiting. I was looking at the bottom of the screen there waiting for the play. We'll let Ryan, you send in the big play in the next drive.
All right, we'll try it out.
Michael Turk, I mentioned the 45.9 career average. The NCAA record is 46.3. Todd Sauerbrunn for him, West Virginia. He had a cannon of a load. This one will make a bounce and roll at about the 12-yard line. That's where Kent State will take over. We have a flag back at the 45-yard line.
There is no foul on the play. The action was determined to be legal. 1st down.
I talked about some of the history with this Kent State program. And again, the coaching list stands out. Don James, he was the head coach of that MAC championship squad, was at Kent State 71 to 74. Legendary career for Don James. Nick Saban, speaking of legendary careers, look at Nick Saban. That is one young, handsome buck. Lou Holtz. Now that can only be the face of Lou Holtz. He's here for a couple of years. And of course, I mentioned some of the prominent players, including the Hall of Fame linebacker Jack Lambert. But how about Bob Stoops? Remember, everybody's got to start somewhere. There's Bob coaching the inside linebackers back in 1988.
Everybody starts somewhere. You find that mentor. Somebody who carries you along. We talked about Sean Lewis and his ties with Dino Babers, Brent Venables. Bob Stoops was a big part of where he came from. Most likely Coach Schneider as well.
Bad snap. Schlee in trouble. Is it going to be a safety? No! Schlee somehow escapes and gets out of bounds at the 12-yard line. How in the world did he pull that off?
I do not know. It almost looks like he steps out of bounds here, but somehow, I believe, keeps his feet in play and then just explodes to get back out of the only thing he could do, right? Watch his right foot here. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw in real time. So that's going to be a safety after they take a look at it.
For a moment, I thought he was going to concede here. And then he said, let me try it.
The previous play is under further review to see if the quarterback stepped out of the end zone.
And you'll see it right there. Great camera work.
How is this official right there to the left of the screen? I mean, he's looking right at it. Right at it.
That right foot is clearly out. And that is clearly going to be 2 points for Oklahoma.
Our colleague Dan Orlovsky having a little flashback there.
Now Dan will tell you he was a few more feet behind the end line. Infamous Dan Orlovsky story when he involuntarily ran out for a safety, not knowing his bearings. Crowd just saw that angle that we saw and you folks at home saw. And we've got about 80,000 referees saying, wait a minute, that's a safety.
Yeah, very clear there. Right foot on the back end line of the end zone.
You see who's got his hands on him forcing that safety. It's one Reggie Grimes who has been all over again today. Great story about him playing for his grandmother, Barbara. Talked about that in the first half. She battling cancer, getting ready for treatment.
Well, I mean, you've got to give the guy a ton of credit. How he gets out of this in the first place,
I mean, that's a Houdini. I seriously don't know I'm thinking it's either going to be a safety or he's going to get cute and throw it up in the air, and it might be a pick six, fumble, something.
To your point, I thought when he picked it up, he may just step out of bounds.
Right.
Because, hey, but he fought. He fought and tried to make it work. Defense now, turnover to start the second half, and now points on their own to contribute.
After further review, it was determined that the quarterback stepped on the end line. The result of the play is a safety. We have a timeout.
A marvelous effort by Colin Schlee, and a marvelous effort by this Oklahoma defense. 33-3 our score. Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus is your home all week for Oklahoma football. 7 days a week, everything from the huddle Monday at 7 o'clock at night to Sooner Sports Talk, the Venables press conference every Tuesday. Mentioned OU DNA earlier, and it caps off with Sunday. That'll be tomorrow. Sooner football with Brent Venables. That'll be at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Can't say enough about Brent Venables and the coaching staff, their hospitality yesterday. The sports information here is first class, and it all starts with Joe Castiglione, who was kind enough to stop by the booth and say hello earlier. In his 25th year, one of the top athletic directors in all of collegiate sports. They just do everything around here first class, Ryan.
And he talked about just the continuity from the top down, right? From the president of the university to the athletic director to the coaching staff, how that streamlines everything. And I think maybe it was a little bit of a, we got the guy that we know can streamline this thing and take us to the next level when we head to the SEC.
Right. Well, look, there's a lot of programs when you lose a Lincoln Riley that would be crippling, but they go right out and they get the most sought-after coordinator in college football for a while now. I mean, people have been courting Brent Venables for years. He has said no time and time again, but finally this was the move that just felt right. We had many great years here with Coach Stoops, and he didn't have to think about it too long. This was the right move for him.
No, and he commented about when you find your why, right? He found it. He was fine with not having to answer questions, go out, coach the defense, get paid $1.5 million, $2.5 million eventually as a coordinator, to taking this on, because now he's the one who's accountable for everything that goes on with this program and what it looks like. And he's built the culture already in just a short tenure to something that this place could be really proud of.
What I love about Brent Venables is that he never forgets where he came from. He came from a tough background. He will tell you it was not the most stable of home lives. He got a huge lifeline from Bill Snyder of Kansas State, then went on to Clemson, and then of course Oklahoma before that, the first stint, then Clemson, now back to Oklahoma. But he is so thankful for everybody. As you see Barnes, talented freshman tailback Nico Bolden, the player that was involved on the hit for Kent State. But there's a certain vibe that you get when you sit with somebody, as we did with Brent Venables yesterday, for the better part of a half hour, 45 minutes, and you just feel his passion. It exudes, it permeates the room, and you see why he's been so successful with players over the years at every stop he's been. We're talking about a guy who's never had a losing season. He's been an assistant coach for 26 years, 26 winning seasons.
Never been fired, and that's something that a lot of coaches can't say hasn't happened to them, right? He has done such a great job that he's been so sought after everywhere he went.
13 conference titles, multiple national titles, and a lot of winning pedigree with this Oklahoma coaching staff. That is Tawi Walker with his first touch of the game. First down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. Yeah, you heard that right. Learn more at paycom.com. Gabriel delivers a strike, and a nice job broken up at the last moment. It was intended for Jaden Gibson. A great job by that Kent State secondary, which has been tested a lot here of late.
Yeah, especially this second half. There's just another example of speed getting the better of you, but DJ Miller able to get his hand in there to knock it away.
Gibson in motion, and that will draw a penalty flag.
There is no foul on the play.
That's the second time we've had one of those. The old didn't really mean it.
That referee was pretty adamant when he ran in there throwing the flag, too. It's like,
yeah.
I saw something.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a lot of backups in the game for Oklahoma, both on the line, at receiver, and Walker the tailback, but Gabriel is still in the game. And a juke, now a spin, and he's dropped for a sack. Gabriel goes down for a loss. Shane Slattery, the linebacker, will get credit for the sack.
And maybe a good time to
loss of 1 yard back to the 37-yard line.
Find the backup some time here.
I was thinking the same thing. You know, it's one of those where you feel confident enough with a 30-point lead. The only other thing I could think of, though, is that, like we were talking about earlier, they're still learning each other. You know, a bunch of guys out here that haven't had a ton of reps together. You know, this will be the second game under the belt of Gabriel in an Oklahoma uniform.
And you're exactly right in terms of some of these backup wide receivers who may be called upon later in the year with injuries or things of that nature that are going to have that rhythm, that familiarity with one another. So
yeah, because you know it seems like obviously Gabriel and Mims, they're on the same page. All A-OK there, 2 thumbs up. But who's going to be your second guy, your third guy?
Well, we know that Drake Stoops on the inside is going to be a weapon.
Ouch! No fair catch, and paying the price as that stick was Raymond James on the return, and he got walloped by Trevin West.
Probably looking up and down the wide receiving room and figuring out who's going to step up. I think Theo Weiss.
Sometimes the better play is the safer play, and a fair catch is in order. Well, we know about the offense, Ryan, but how about the defense tonight for Oklahoma?
You know, they started last week against UTEP and kept everything in front of them and made great tackles. They continued tonight. Danny Stutzman around the ball all night long. Grimes and Downs from the outside. And then the interior linemen continue to clean up and make plays.
It's going to be the backup quarterback, Devin Cargman, now in the game for Kent State. So Colin Schlee will take the rest of the night off. Valiant effort by him. At times flashed some brilliance. Kent State's offense has really been stuck in neutral in this second half. Oklahoma's defense has just been smothering.
Yeah, I just think the depth, the speed, have finally overwhelmed this team who has been on the road for 10 days, you know, the Pacific Northwest down here to the Oklahoma, Tulsa area.
Yeah. Nice scoot up the middle. And all the way out to the 39-yard line. That is Gavin Garcia. We're going deep into the depth chart now. Gavin Garcia at tailback. And for a lot of these young men for Kent State, a chance to say they played in front of 80,000 in Norman. A memory they will never forget for sure.
You always remember that first time stepping into a historic stadium, no matter where you play.
What was the favorite venue for you? Of course, you got to play in the Rose Bowl, but other than that, somebody's actual opposing stadium.
Yeah, you know, we were scheduled to play Tennessee my freshman year, and I was redshirting, and it was going to be Peyton Manning's first start.
Oh.
And so I wanted to be there. I wanted to walk into, you know, that stadium. I was told how impressive it was. My first year out when I got a chance to play, we went down to Colorado and we played against a Buffs team that was ranked 5th in the country. Yeah. And you walk into Boulder in that stadium, it was something I grew up watching, and I was like, wow. Yeah. Wow, this is real college football.
That's when Boulder was rocking. It's hard to, a lot of the young people watching right now are like, Colorado was good at football. Yeah, they were really good at football for a while.
Won a national championship,
yes.
Right? There was a team I wanted to play for, and they had the likes of Cordell Stewart and Coy Detmer at quarterback. And
yes.
I figured I was just never going to get my chance to play quarterback.
Right.
There.
Eric Bieniemy, Michael Westbrook, some of the skilled weapons. Eric Bieniemy, of course, now the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rashawn Salam The running back for Colorado. That's what you marvel about this Oklahoma program. It's like you already know how good they've been, but then when you take a deep dive, as you and I do preparing for a game, and you look at nobody's won more games since World War II than Oklahoma. Winningest program in the 21st century, Oklahoma. They spit out 11, 12 win seasons like it's just anybody can do it, like no big deal. 7 Heisman Trophy winners. I mean, it's just nonstop success.
The consistency.
Yeah.
When expectations are high at all times.
Right.
That's the true nature of greatness, is when you're able to do that in the face of everybody saying that you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. And with multiple coaches. I mean, I think when Bob Stoops retired, it was like, oh no, now what? Well, then Lincoln Riley comes in, does a terrific job. I have no doubt that Brent Venables is going to do a terrific job. But I mean, you see the 41 10-win seasons. Like a 10-win season is something you celebrate, you get a banner. They do it here like it's ho-hum.
Well, I think that you clearly understand and know now that like no one person is bigger than what the brand of Oklahoma football is.
Right. And it is a brand. I mean, Oklahoma's, that's why they're able to recruit nationally. Kids on this roster from all parts of the country. 3rd and 8. And Oklahoma's defense gets a turnover. There's an interception. That is number 37, Justin Harrington. He plays that hybrid, that cheetah role, a 5th-year senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, impressive to see the normal linebacker position of the cheetah drop into coverage, and then he was right there. Watch him just kind of bait the quarterback a little bit. He knew where the ball was going to go, and didn't catch it cleanly, but he does. He probably, if he catches it cleanly, he may be in the end zone for 6.
Yeah, it felt like a pick 6 before a little bit of that bobble there. Well, now the backup quarterback is in. Davis Bevel. Bevel actually a transfer for Pitt. He played 3 games last year, got a little bit of action in the bowl game, a victory over Oregon.
I was looking right at this when I was looking at the depth chart and talking to Coach Levy about it. It was 5'11" Dylan Gabriel, 6'6" Davis Bevel, right?
We've got a special visitor here in the booth we'll get to in just a second on 2nd down and 10. And that is Walker on the carry. Up. Now he's in and out. That's Bob Stoops just came by to say hello, shake a few hands, and then poof, just like that, he's gone.
Pick up the 5 yards on the play. Down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, big game Bob, right? We go back quite a long time.
Was he bashful? Was he too shy to come on there?
I think, yeah, he saw me earlier and said he was going to stop by and say hi, and I was like, well, you know,
you come on,
you know, talk to us a little
Somebody
bit.
corral that man.
Maybe you still got some contract obligations with Fox.
There he is. Come on in.
Come in.
Get in here. I mean, it's not every day you got a Hall of Fame coach just hanging around. Come here, we go.
You know what it's like to put this headset on.
Great broadcast tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. How you feeling?
I'm great. Doing awesome.
Yeah.
Golf game's getting in order, you know, so all's well.
I know you and Brent obviously go way back, and he mentioned to us yesterday in our meetings that you guys still talk on a regular basis. But how excited were you to see him get another opportunity to come back to Norman as a head coach?
I loved it. Believe me, he's an absolute perfect fit to be here. Helped us build this program back from, you know, what Coach Switzer left and, you know, Coach Wilkinson back in the day. And Brent, he fits it perfect. I mean, he came in here with my brother Mike and Brent from Kansas State and a bunch of other guys, and we brought it back. And he knows what it takes, what this place is all about, and fits it perfectly.
Right.
And couldn't be happier. I love being around him. I travel through every once in a while, once or twice a week. I'm not doing much, but it's fun to see him and be around the team, and he got a great staff as well.
I tell you what, can you hang around? We got to take a quick timeout. We've got 5 minutes left. We'll keep you just for a couple more if we can. Bob Stoops in the house. All Oklahoma in this second half, and really mostly Oklahoma today. 33-3 our score here with 5 and change to go in the fourth quarter. The man in the middle needs no introduction. Of course, legendary coach Bob Stoops. And Bob, I think a lot of people see you around and they know you're still here, but what is the day-to-day like for Bob Stoops these days?
Longer workouts, a little more golf, a little more travel. It's all good. It's positive. I go by, watch practice a couple times a week. I love it, so I still show up once in a while, see the guys and see practice, and they're good enough to embrace me when I come by.
Well, they have to embrace you. You know, you get called. You were the righty last year to come in for the bowl game, and then when the coaching decision was made to go with Brent Venables, you had to have been one that was incredibly proud of who was taking over.
Absolutely. It was easy to help in the bowl game. Not like I had to move back from Florida or something. I was right here in town. You don't forget how to coach, and the players really embraced me. It was awesome. And then Brent coming in and filling, coming in fit so perfectly.
We got a surprise for you. 1988. Look at that guy.
My freshman picture at Iowa, probably.
That's Kent State?
Yeah, that was Kent State. My first full-time job. I was 28 years old, 1988. My parents never thought I'd get a job. I'm making about $18,000 as a outside linebacker DN coach. It was the best.
Well, I think, most people
Dick Crum hired me. Great guy. Wonderful
man. I think most people just assume that when they see these big salaries that head coaches make, they don't know where they actually start and and the hard work that goes into it, being a GA to ultimately becoming a head coach.
Ryan, you're exactly right. I made nothing until 28 years old and finally got a full-time job, had my own players to coach, outside backers, again, making about $18,000, and I thought I had it made. I was just engaged and got married that summer. So I've been blessed, though. Dick Crum hired me, gave me a chance, and loved Kent. Kent was a great place. It was 45 minutes from my hometown of Youngstown, Ohio. So it was fun to be there for that 1 year.
I got it. Oh, we got to take one last time. Can you stay one more segment? All right, we're overstretching our boundaries here, but we'll take one final timeout. Bob Stoops with us here in the booth. 3:09 to go from Norman. Time now for our Air Comfort Solutions play of the game. Your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Oh, my goodness. Drake Stoops. Where did he get these moves? Did his old man teach him that?
No, I was a DB. I just ran into people. I didn't avoid people like Drake does.
Watch him here. He loses his shoe. It somehow stays balanced enough to get into the end zone.
He's got great hands, great effort, tough kid. I love him, of course.
Talk about a great night at the office. Oklahoma win, a great crowd, and your son is puts together the play of the game and a touchdown. I do, since we're on Sooner Vision and this great partnership now with ESPN and the ESPN Plus, you of all people as a longtime coach know the value of television deals and networks and everything else. And just if you can't talk about how joyous everybody is around here about the relationship now with ESPN Plus.
It's been awesome. Love it that not just football, all our other sports are on there. Everybody loves following all the sports around here. We've got a great community, supports everything. And women's sports is, our softball team, our gymnastics team, they're like superstars. Yeah. So it's fun. And love the coaches. All of them are fantastic, and I watch all of it.
The consistency, I think we talked about it from the president down to the athletic director who's been here for almost 25 years. The consistency with that has seemed to keep everything running in place when there are things that seem to want to try to interrupt it.
Yeah, it's very true. Joe Castiglione, 25 or plus years. Joe Harris, our president now, that's come in just in the last couple of years, was our chief legal counsel the entire time I was here virtually. So anyway, we have a great continuity. We know how to do it. They did a great job hiring Brent Venables, and we're not going away. This is going to continue.
I do have to ask you one question I also asked Brent Venables. My introduction to Bob Stoops was the great job you did in Gainesville, defensive coordinator, helping lead Steve Spurrier to his national championship with the Florida Gators. That's an SEC school. We know it's going to happen. We don't know exactly when, but Oklahoma is going to be in the SEC. You know that league as well as you know this league. What does that mean for this program going forward?
It's fantastic. Obviously, there's a lot of big reasons why we made that move from our leadership standpoint, and it's positive. We can't wait. It's going to be fantastic having all of those teams come here to play as well. And listen, I get it. We may not win it every year like we won the Big 12 most years, but still, we'll win our share. And let's face it, right? We're no slouch either. I don't think there's a lot of teams in that league that are like, oh, geez, oh, this will be a walkover. No, that's not happening. So we'll hold our own and understand it'll be a challenge. But obviously, if we're going and going to do that, we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I imagine you guys will be up to the challenge as you've been every other challenge. We can't thank you enough for taking out some time here on Sooner Vision. And again, we look forward to the partnership and look forward to Oklahoma football the rest of the year.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, I love seeing you, buddy.
You too,
Stay after it.
One of the best, Bob Stoops, national championship coach, and still very much prominent around the Oklahoma program, kind of to take several moments of his time in what has actually turned out to be one heck of a night in more ways than one for him. Ryan, as the final seconds tick away here, how about some final thoughts on what we've seen here tonight?
Well, I think it's a perfect coaching opportunity for Brent Venables and the staff, right? To really take what they did in the first half and show them, hey, we can't have things like this happen, especially when you go and have to go play a rival like the Nebraska Cornhuskers a week in Lincoln. So I think it's a perfect game for the staff to attack what they need to attack to get better at and what they did really, really well.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting is that as we talk about everybody getting acclimated and getting on the same page on this offense, is there's a special connection brewing between Dylan Gabriel and Marvin Mims. They look like they've been playing for years, and that's going to be one of the best combinations that we're going to see in the Big 12 all year long.
Well, I think it was the catalyst tonight, right? When they went back to each other during the 2-minute drill, it really motivated this team, and they got on the same page, and they just took off from there.
Kent State is an offense that's going to rack up a lot of points in the MAC this year. They put 20 on Washington on the road last week. But this Oklahoma defense, I mean, when they are on, they are going to be just lethal against almost anybody they face.
And I don't think we haven't seen an instance where they haven't been on, right? They tackle well, they keep everything in front of them, and they get them to the ground.
I'm certain that makes one Brent Venables quite happy, and he is standing by with Alex.
Thanks, Mike. Coach Venables, well, congratulations on the win. And the wind picked up in Norman, but your offense caught wind in the second half. What was the difference?
Well, I just think we stayed patient and we didn't panic. We got some things going, obviously, throwing the football, and that set up our run game. Really got our run game going. Changed up a few things scheme-wise, based on what they were doing blocking-wise, and really, again, we were super efficient with the football. Put them in a bad position offensively, and that forced them to have to throw the ball a lot. So really complimented each other well in the second half, but really proud of the guys for not, again, panicking, feeling that, we showed them a lot of tape with these guys. They went to Iowa last year, same thing at halftime, all the way in the third quarter. They went down to College Station last year, same thing, as a 2-score game with minutes to go in the third quarter. So these guys are tough, man. They challenge you in a lot of different ways. And they were dropping 8 and making us be patient. I thought our guys really did a great job making some small minor adjustments in the second half, and guys made some huge plays. Just stay together.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Go celebrate with your team.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike.
Alex, thank you so much. A happy Brent Venables, particularly with the way his team played in the second half. Oklahoma had just 82 yards on the first 4 drives, 348 the rest of the way. The offense got hot, the defense suffocating for the better part of 4 quarters. That is going to do it for us. Again, for our fantastic ESPN Plus crew, for Ryan Leaf, for Alex Chappell, this is Mike Morgan saying so long from Norman. Sooners 2-0, getting ready for Nebraska. So long, everybody.